Welcome to the Mad for It podcast. The boys on the road to Wembley live in 2025. I'm Josh. With me is Tom and Adam. This week, we're going to be discussing the album Don't Believe the Truth, which came out in 2005, May 30th to be exact. We should have been doing this on May 30th, but you know what? You live and you learn, and we're doing it this way. So, lump it. Basically, do you guys remember this album coming out? Because this was the first Oasis album that I was aware of. I was into music, had my own opinions of things, and this was the first one. Remember all the singles and like being able to buy the album myself, probably with like my pocket money. What did you guys think of it?
I remember it coming out, but mainly for the singles. I didn't have the album, and I think it's a mixed bag in terms of the singles as well. So I think this album sort of, I was like aware of it, but I didn't buy the album. I didn't rush down to Music Zone with my pocket money to buy it. So
I remember Importance of Being Idol video. So I don't remember the album, but obviously that era, that video is, pretty great video, right? Recyphons doing his thing, big fans. So that's really all I knew from it. And I didn't mind that single at the time. I think actually that single is pretty refreshing.
Yeah.
We don't have to dive into it right away, but I think in just the Oasis sphere, I think that's like,
I think we should, because to me that is the only solid gold on the album, is that one song. So I think that is it's the only thing they'll play this summer. And apart from the song that we must not name, but it's the only one I like anyway. It's excellent. It's like classic Oasis to me. I think it's really good, and I think it's by far the standout on the album.
Yeah, I think I agree with you there. I think that is the best one as a song. I'm like, this is really good. Like, I haven't listened to it for a while. Like, you hear it on TV and whatever in the background, but like going back and listening to it, it's different. There's a couple weird different songs on this album, but that's the one that's, this is actually good. And it's like they took a punt at something that's a bit different, a bit jaunty, and it works really well. Like you said, the music video is really good.
Yep.
I have a bit of a tempered history with it, with the Paired Reading Award night, so that's locked into that. But the song overall is wicked. It's so good. Like I would love to see that live. Like, so I think that's one they will play.
Sorry, I want to be contrarian here. Yeah. I think in doing the research, I actually despise this song now.
Oh, really?
Why?
Yeah, I really do. Because, you know me, I've got a bit of trouble with Oasis just completely stealing stuff. And I think this album in particular, Noel's like 4 vocals based, like his lead vocal contributions. I think they're just all rip-offs. And they're not doing the Beatles for once. I think maybe that's the note to take from this, is it's not Strawberry Fields Forever with the Mellotron like we heard on Giants. This is just Dead End Street and Sunny Afternoon by the Kinks. I don't know how well you know those, but once you've heard it, you can't unhear it. And I hate him for it. I think it really winds me up. It's just,
Do you not mind when they rip off good songs and then create a good song? To me, that's the fine lift. It's when they lift something and then it's bad is where I have a problem with it.
I don't know if they ever actually do it badly when they plagiarize, but I think the plagiarism is just so bold-faced that someone obviously gave them a note and said, like, guys, don't do the Beatles again. We've kind of done the Beatles. They're like, right, who have I got? I've got the Kinks. I'm going to do, what was the other one? Part of the Cure is just Golden Brown.
Yeah,
and it's like,
that is crazy.
And I think because this Golden Brown was in like Snatch in 2000, I think he just watched that and he was like, oh, that's a good song. I'll just do that song.
I'll just hold that for 5 years.
Yeah, but it was very in the conscious when it like Snatch and Guy Ritchie and that whole vibe was a whole thing. So they knew their audience would watch that movie and like it was,
Well, the same with Mucky Fingers. I was playing it the other day and my girlfriend was like, oh, this sounds like Waiting for the Man by Lou Reed. Or was it
yeah.
But it's like, it does, like the guitar thing. So there's a lot of influence, but that's, again, I guess if he's trying to pull and be different, he has to really be different by plagiarising another band.
Yeah.
It's like, this sounds different to Oasis. Oh, they haven't ripped this band off before.
Yes. Yeah.
But it's the same thing. It's like, it's par for the course with any Oasis. It's a derivative of something. And like, if it's not the Beatles and their first albums are consistent, bit of Beatles there, but then their own flair.
But I think there is still a Beatles inspired
song. I mean, you can't get away from it, right?
Here.
Oh, which one?
Which is Keep the Dream Alive.
Yeah.
Which is Andy Bell's song, so it's not Noel for once.
Yeah.
Right.
Shout out to the Bellster. It's his song, and that's very like Sgt. Peppery, like sitar vibes.
Yeah.
So to me, even when they're like looking at other stuff for inspiration, they can't help themselves with the Beatles. They cannot help themselves.
I put 8 out of 10 solid on that for that Dream Alive.
Yeah, I think it's really good. And I also think it should have been the album closer. I think it'd have been a perfect sort of sign off to the album.
Yeah.
Which,
do you not think that Let There Be Love should be the closer then? Because I think that's a fantastic closer.
No, I think it's too long. And if you want to talk Beatles again, it is like
Yeah,
hey Juding.
Yes.
They're like repeated. I think it's long, and I think I wasn't that fussed. I think it's a bit flat.
I forgot about this song entirely.
Right.
Even though it's a big advert or slow-mo football championships, a team's been kicked out. But that song, I forgot about it, and I really like it. I forgot about it, and I really like it. It was a single as well. And
so dreary.
It is dreary, but it's like, of the songs on this album, it's more memorable, and I like it. I'm like, okay, this is cool. They probably won't play it live when we see them.
No.
But like, my whole notes was like, yeah, forgot the song existed. I like it. Great advert energy. It's like,
Let There Be Love, the saddest.
Like, play it like when Animal Hospital, like sad people coming out. It's like, it's not sad, but the pets come back from the brink of death.
Can we film some footage and put Let There Be Love on it?
We got a cat there. We could just put the footage of that over it.
I think obviously the strength of that is the two boys having their own little bits of the song, right? Because we haven't seen that throughout the album.
Yeah.
And they've each got their own little bit. Actually, I kind of enjoyed this to the point where I was like, I wonder if there is a live version of this.
Yeah.
Just to see it, just to feel it. And all I found was them playing it on a Dutch television and then playing it on Top of the Pops. And it's both playback.
Yeah.
And all the comments are, let there be playback. And the Top of the Pops one, I think, is got to be one of the most embarrassing performances.
Why?
Because it's just so dry. Like,
but that's the song, though. It's the driest song.
Yeah, but it's like no one knows what to do. And there's a really good bit of Gem Archer in the background. Liam comes back in after Noel's part, and he's like, "Yes, you nailed the timing." Because obviously they're just
yeah.
So it's like, and he's just like, "Yeah, you got to put that up because otherwise didn't hate it. Yeah, solid."
Yeah. So the opening track, "Turn Up the Sun," which has appeared on the. Was it Worst Songs?
It was the Worst Songs.
It's
and
written
the Liam.
by Andy Bell.
Andy Bell song.
Oh, it wasn't on the Liam thing.
No, it's Andy Bell's song.
Bellster. But that's a song that's grown on me since we watched it, because I was like negative on it on that one, which I've mentioned before. But it grows on me. It's not a major. I feel the live version of it is way better, but
I think it's good.
It's got some good harmonies in it as well.
Okay.
Which that's something I've learned by listening to these albums.
Yeah.
They've got real, like when Liam's singing and Noel does the harmonising, like I'm a sucker for like harmonies on a song, and they actually do it really well, like really well.
I think that's a really good opener as well to the album, actually.
Yes, but then you got, again, we've talked about
because it goes immediately downhill after that.
It's like a different band straight away.
Yeah.
And then,
There's a lot of other people. Liam writes a few songs on this. Gem Archer does a song on this.
Yeah.
And the Bellster does a few songs on this as well. And Noel's quite limited. So it's like a weird... and when Noel does a song, it's kind of combating what the norm of Oasis is. Like Mucky Fingers. Like, I like that song because it's so weird, but I could see it being disliked by many Oasis fans.
I hate that song.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And the more I've listened to it, I think it's so derivative. And the way that people say it's a Bob Dylan song just because there's a harmonica on it is like, it's closer to a Lou Reed song than anything, like you mentioned. So, the more I listen to that, I'm like, what is he doing? Like, what the hell is it?
It's a weird, because that... Originally, we read, didn't we, that was going to be a single?
Yes, and Lyla got the top spot.
So the original singles that were released were Lyla, The Importance of Being Idle, and Let There Be Love. But I read something that Lyla wasn't originally on this album, and it was a demo that Noel wrote, and they were like, we haven't got like a lead single for this album. Like, what the fuck are we going to do? And he had this written, and they took the demo, got Liam to sing the vocals, and then got Zach Starkey to redo the drums. So they didn't even record it at the time. They just took Noel's demo and Frankenstein a single. And like, you hear that, and that is the lead single of the album. Like, you hear it as an Oasis thing. It's like, that's going to fit the mold of it.
Right, yeah.
Like, the reviews of the album were like, some people were like negative on it, like half, like 50-50 on it. Or some people rated it, and people said, oh, this is their best album since Be Here Now. And then listening to this and then listening to Shoulders, Shoulders is a way better album than
this. I agree. Yeah, really strongly agree on that.
But I kind of despise Shoulders, like coldness and dryness of ideas and just like very clinical and clean and like 2000s. It doesn't know what era it's in. This is like a muddy mess with a bunch of nonsense on it, but there's some gems in there, and I don't know.
You're right though, but McMuddy is the word for it, because like the production on the album is like so like, and I'm not usually one who like catches out that sort of stuff. And I was like, God, this is bad. This is bad.
Do you think this is having an identity crisis more so because it's fighting with whatever the indie landscape was at the time. You had like Arctic Monkeys,
Franz
the
Ferdinand,
Strokes, Franz Ferdinand,
yeah.
this scrappier kind of indie sound. So that's where you're getting Mucky Fingers.
Yeah.
Then you get a clean Lyla kind of thing. And you're getting these weird Importance of Being Idle being the more jaunty, like Naive by...
Yeah.
There's absolutely no edge to this album whatsoever,
No.
in my opinion.
No.
It's very safe. But listening to it, I was like, okay. Like, I didn't have a massive negative reaction to it. But I took way more from Shoulders. Like, unless I was like, oh, this is a sleeper. This is like one I would go back and listen to.
No.
This one is one and done. I know they're going to play Lyla probably and Importance of Being Idle. There's no other deep cuts in there that they're going to bring out because people don't particularly... There is people who love it, but I don't think people are going to want to hear this.
No, I think, well, again, I think I would take this album over Shoulders, but only because there is some interesting stuff on it. I think God Thinks I'm Able, that's gone way up in my estimation
Has
now.
it?
Yeah, I like that the more I listen to it
I think
as well.
that might be my favourite on here, to be honest. Keep the Dream Alive was really good. Love Like a Bum, You're Bumming My Mind. No, that's a 4 out of 10. So, yeah, just... yeah, they're trying to do something, but they've got the original...
Even Love Like a Bomb is like, which I'm not that fussed for. I probably listened to that song more than anyone in the world in the last 2 months as we've been researching. That keeps coming up. It keeps coming up.
And Meaning of Soul, which is terrible.
Get rid of it. It's
Absolutely
so rubbish.
At least it's short though, which is why it did well on the Liam 13 because it's over and done with. Move on.
Yeah, it's weird to go from Meaning of Soul into God Thinks I'm Able. I think that is black and white as far as completely shit, completely good. Yeah, it's funny.
It's a weird one because this is in my head a pinnacle Oasis album that I'm aware because I don't know what the next one, Dig Out Your Soul. Like I don't even remember it coming out or any singles of it. This was the last thing. It was like I got into Oasis a couple years before this. My mate had this album, so the one who played drums when the Paired Reading Award was happening, he had that album. We'd listen to that while he played Championship Manager on Xbox, and I'd watch him. So this was a part of that, and it was like I was like, oh, I really like Morning Glory. But the thing is, I only listened to that album. That's the only Oasis album I had as a kid. Like I didn't have more than one album, so
yeah, it's kind of hard to explain that you just couldn't afford more music.
Yeah,
it's kind of a weird thing to think about now. I just didn't have that CD and no one had it, so
but I think that's a good point that you made earlier about like how this, looking back now, is so out of time with like the Strokes are here, like Arctic Monkeys are like coming out. It's that sort of this just feels like so out of whack with that era of music.
It's weird because it fell in 2005, so that's a weird time as well. That would have been the Arctic Monkeys time.
Yeah.
Because it seemed like the indie landscape was changing so drastically at the beginning. Like the Strokes killed indie as Oasis reigned in the 90s. Yeah. And then they came and did that. And Arctic Monkeys came and made the lad music. So you got all the lad rock that came out there with like jaunty vocals or a bit like kind of a bit of swagger to it.
Sure.
And you could say Oasis had that swagger, but it's a bit different. So it was like the new emerging Britpop, and then Oasis are the dinosaurs trying to stay relevant.
Even think like The Killers, which is obviously like an album we all loved, and it's now like so overplayed. But like that sort of freshness and that again, like scraggly sort of compared to this is just like this is just so like
it doesn't
no age whatsoever and just bland to me.
Well, that's interesting because I do think that the next album is like. It's not in the maybe even in the top 4 of their albums, but it is far more solid than this.
Okay,
and it's more consistent. And again, the production went up, and it's interesting to see the leap between this and the next one, because obviously by the next one, 2008, they know it's game over.
Yeah,
like even just by the scene, like okay, Franz Ferdinand, Strokes, but then once the people that got influenced by Franz Ferdinand and Strokes, like the Arctic Monkeys and whoever, once they then were up, it's like Oasis are just. They're in the dust by that point. So they're like, let's get back to the Beatlesy thing, and it's a bit more focused.
Another thing I'd say about this album is Liam's vocals are pretty poor as well, I would say. That was something I kept coming back to like throughout the album. I don't know what was going on with him at the time, but he's really quite strained as he's singing them, which is like, again, doesn't help the sound.
Yeah, because I don't recognise the difference between Standing on the Shoulders and this, like his vocals just sound the same. Also, that we'd listened to a lot of these songs through different lists of basically being ranked as either really bad songs or just written by Liam.
Right.
So it's all muddy to me when I heard this. I was like, oh, it's a lot of these songs on these lists, and I've heard them before. So I was like, it was kind of, there's no surprise to it. Maybe listening to these for the first time, we might have a better. Maybe we were overexhausted with like a barrage of like shit bullets. So going into this, because there's a lot of listen, we don't have to listen to Lyla. We've heard it so much. You
Yeah.
guys don't like it. I like Lyla. Like,
That is just, I just cannot comprehend that song being popular or it being chosen as a lead single as well.
I can see why it was chosen, though. 'Cause
It is, honestly, it
pick
is
a girl's
just,
name and just sing it aloud, and
hey, Jude.
It's
Yeah.
so dreary.
Yeah.
It's like it sounds like they can't be bothered playing it, which maybe is because of the production.
Yeah.
That they didn't actually play it. But like it's just I hate it.
Okay.
I absolutely hate that song.
final nail in the coffin for Lyla on the Mad Fruit podcast.
They're going to play it live and I'm going to love it. Like, and I'll
You're
get a
gonna
video
love
of
it.
you. You'll be like,
We're all gonna love it.
Yeah,
Come
of
on.
course, because I'll be like that every single song.
Did it
but
make our set list?
what?
Did it make our set list?
I don't think it
of course
did.
it didn't.
Yeah.
I would have vetoed that bad boy immediately.
But yeah, it's, overall disappointing album. There's no
We've
joy in it.
I think we haven't touched on one song in there, which is Bell Will Ring,
Yeah. By Gem Archer.
which is not by Andy Bell. It's like it's got his name
Well,
in the
Mr.
blooming title.
Gem will ring.
yeah.
Bell will gem.
Yeah, a dual track, Oasis bullshit, Gem Archer wrote. That's my notes on that, so.
I just thought filler. That was just a
Yeah,
classic. Like
I just
was
wrote 5 out of
Noel
10.
Noel couldn't be bothered on this album
Yeah.
because he
No.
hasn't written basically half of it. He hasn't written.
Yeah.
He's done one good song and been like, that'll do me.
Would you think he's just depressed because he knows the power of the Strokes and he sees that his time has moved on? He's like, boys, you have it. Just problem is that we don't really have Heathen Chemistry to kind of measure this against. I think that would be really interesting once we can kind of put those shoulders chemistry and this in place to be like, is this better than that? You know, did the energy that Gem Archer and Bell and I don't know, it was Alan White on that one. Did they boost the energy for Heathen Chemistry? And then are we seeing a dip here? Or did they have to figure it out in Heathen Chemistry and this is the best of that combination?
Did these guys writing these songs, because you say they're quite derivative of the Beatles thing, but is that in their head? They're like, well, the best thing to do is it's Oasis, and they even know it. It's like, oh, just rip off the
Just
Beatles.
rip off the
So
Beatles.
if we
Yeah.
give them a song that just sounds like we're ripping off the Beatles, Noel will be happy. We're like, yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
maybe
sounds
it's-
like us. It's
Yeah.
like-
Yeah. Stick a Mellotron on it and do a Hey Jude at the end and you're all set. Yeah.
So we've gone into the tracks a bit, what
Yep.
we like, what we dislike. Should we run through the track listing and determine what we'd get rid of and what we'd keep?
Heaven and Hell.
Heaven and Hell. I'll hold up the red light if we dislike a song, and I'll hold up the green light if we do like the song. And yeah, that's what we'll do.
All right.
Great idea.
Right, so starting off, we've got the opening track, which is Turn Up the Sun.
Is this a 3-way vote?
And also, I think we can't be like, it's okay. It either has to be heaven or hell.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yes.
So you've got to have an
All right.
opinion.
I'm
So
glad we got the rules started. All right, gents.
Okay, the song's all right. I
Heaven.
like it.
Heaven.
Heaven.
heaven for me.
Heaven.
Just gets over the
There we
5.5
go.
point mark.
Next one, Mucky Fingers, which is Heaven for me.
Hell. Hell.
Heaven.
Heaven. All right, double-
Heaven.
Oh, come on.
Go in heaven.
Oh,
3 minutes in heaven for that. And then our next one
You know-
is Lyla.
Hell.
hell.
Immediate
I'd
hell.
say heaven, but with the
Two.
devil has spoken.
Hell.
Cast to hell, Lyla. But I hope they play it. Then where do we go from there?
Calm like a bomb. No.
Love like a bomb.
Oh, I keep saying the Rage Against
The
the
Rage
Machine.
Against the Machine.
Calm like a bomb. Hell.
Hell, get that.
Hell,
To the
yeah.
depths of hell. Bye bye. Bye bye. And then
Can we keep the piano bit from that song in heaven though? 'Cause that's quite heavenly.
All right, show it.
an angelic. Okay, piano in
Bit of
heaven.
it.
That's all we got there.
Do you want to do the songs or should I read
I
that
mean,
song?
I can't
I'll
see
do
with
it.
these
Important
last-
to be an idol.
Okay, that's a heaven.
Heaven.
That's hell.
Immediate
Send that
heaven.
to
Right.
heaven.
Immediate
King-
Play
heaven.
it play it 4 times. Play it
Kinks
through-
in heaven. Kinks in heaven. Not idol in heaven.
I mean,
Dead End Street in
Oasis
in
are the
heaven.
new Kinks, the better
Yeah.
Kinks.
Meaning of Soul.
Really?
Hell.
Oh, hell.
Hell.
Send it to
Straight to
hell.
hell.
Straight to hell.
Rubbish.
Straight to hell.
I hope we don't meet Noel and Liam in the scene. We never will.
God thinks
What,
I'm
you
able.
think he's going to be like, you slagged off Meaning of Soul?
They've been way pettier for less. Like, Meaning of Soul, I think it's a hell song.
No, wait. No,
We're doing Guess
we've done
God Thinks
Meaning
I'm
of
Able now.
Soul. God thinks I'm able.
God thinks I'm
Heaven.
able.
Heaven.
I
2 to
don't
3.
like it.
2 to 3.
Heaven.
2
Heaven?
to 3. Yeah, 2 to 3. Yeah. Heaven.
Heaven.
As high as it gets. Well, I'm just going to call this one Golden Brown. Hell.
Let's go. Which one's that?
Part of the queue.
Part of the queue. See, I don't mind this one.
Heaven for me.
I'd say Heaven as well. Of like when we come in, it's like okay, finally a bit of relief from the shite. But
Can I
just
also
like-
say, like, it is the worst named song I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Part of the queue.
Yeah.
Like what you in, like Tesco's.
yeah, that's probably you wrote
It's
it.
relatable, Ad. It's just, I feel like I'm part of that.
Yeah.
His
Same
Ocado shop didn't come, so he had to go actually line up. It's like, how much is milk? I thought it was like 50p. So yeah, heaven for us.
Shame. Keep the dream alive.
Heaven for me.
Heaven.
Heaven for me.
Okay, heaven.
Would you not put heaven?
You got no option.
That's the one that I.
Sgt. Pepper's.
It could be a grower. What I said about this one. It sounds like feeder.
Oh yeah.
Like so to add to the list of things, it sounds like feeder, and I said could be a grower. I'd say hell, but yeah, so it's in there, so it's a green.
Bell will ring.
Hell.
Yeah, hell's bells.
Hell.
Sorry,
Hell's
it's
bells.
gone. Fuck
Hell's
that. Bye bye.
And then the final one, let there be love, gents.
Yeah, I'm in it. Heaven.
Hell for me.
Heaven sent.
Hell. Casting vote, Tom.
Let there be love. Let's not have hell. Heaven's love.
Heaven.
Yeah, we're going heaven.
Give it its due. There's a lot of shite on this album, and that's not. It's very derivative, but if you're gonna do it, go all the way. Go full John Lennon, like. You know.
So what's our closing thoughts on this album then?
Hell.
I think it's a 2 out of 5 for me.
I also think it's a 2 out of 5. There's not much to like on this.
I think it's a 3 out of 5.
Okay.
I think Shoulders was a 2. I think this is a 3.
Shoulders was like
Shoulders
is
better
a
than
4
this.
in comparison to this. It's still a 3 Shoulders, but
Right.
I think Shoulders was vastly. But that was like one that I feel like I'm definitely going to go back and listen closer to the date. Like,
Never.
Maybe not the whole thing. I might miss all the fast, punky Liam songs. I think I might just listen to Gas Giant and
Gas Giant.
What's the other one? Roll It Over. So yeah, Gas Panic. But yeah, overall, what songs would you want to hear live off this in the set if they were going to play?
Imports of Being Idle, and that'll do me.
No, I don't want to hear that.
Imports of Being Idle and Lyla. They're the 2 I want to hear.
No, God thinks I'm able, but they're never going to do it.
Yeah, that is like the no, they will. We'll be there. Oh God, this is cutting into the 59.
Yeah,
set list. We've got God Thinks I'm Able.
Can I say Mucky Fingers? I feel like that's a dig at the fans.
Okay.
I feel that there's I don't really have too much to say about it, but there's a Union Jack reference in there. I feel like he's doing a kind of like a really, like Lou Reed would slag off his fans.
Yeah.
You know, Lou Reed would punch his fans in the crowd because he's like,
Hmm.
I'm better than you in every way, even though you paid to see me. I feel like the Union Jack references and there's a few, it's a bit snottier than
you
like.
get your history from the Union Jack, like you're an idiot and like you just believe in old British like fat like kind of
Yeah, and he's
colonialism stuff.
like done with the city. He's done with like everyone and the populace. He wants to go to the country and get away from the noise and the
sounds
idiots.
like Tory, doesn't it?
Yes,
Living out in the
that's what I
country in
mean.
his
I feel
house.
like it's a bit of a dig. I tell you what, put it back on and imagine it as having to go at a fan or like the more Gammon fans.
Get your mucky
you know.
fingers off of me. I don't even want
Yes,
to touch you.
yeah, I
don't
feel
wanna
like
give you
it's-
pictures.
I live in LA now.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I think
fine.
that's good. I think that'll do it, guys. We've got the
Yeah,
verdict in.
sweet.
Album is meh, very meh. But like, what else have we got? We've not got long now till the gig.
Yes.
How long is it? We've got like 5
It's really coming up.
It
Just a
really
matter of
is.
months now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and more news will come out and more exciting things. It's little bits are eking out, and hopefully, once we get there, it's going to be so exciting. I
It will.
can't.
I'm
Yeah.
already excited.
Yeah.
I'm already excited.
Yeah, it's going to be great. And, the sun's
And let us
shining.
know at home which songs you would like off this album to be played. Let us know in the comments if you're
Yeah,
listening
that'd be
in
great.
on Spotify or YouTube.
We do read the comments. They do get to me.
Or, yeah.
Like,
Abuse Josh as much as
Abuse
possible
Josh,
in the
yeah.
comments.
That's Josh, the guy in the middle. So
Yeah.
just really go to town on him. And if you want to slag off like all of our lack of knowledge, I think that's really important. Tell us what we're doing wrong, and we won't fix any of it. Actually, I just want to say, well researched. That was you really had all the facts written down, and I just good on you.
There's very few facts on this album, unlike others, so it's
'Cause
quite easy.
I-
Thank you.
He knows all the facts. Gas Giant. You
Gas
know, he
Giant.
knows all the songs.
Love it, yeah.
That's going to do it for this episode of the podcast, guys. Be sure to like us on TikTok, Instagram, Spotify. We're all there. Listen to us, YouTube. We really appreciate the support.
MySpace.
Yeah.
Bebo.
Google.
Oh, you've lost your confidence
Oh,
there, Josh.
yeah.
Oh, come on.
See you
That
guys,
was
cheers.
2-0.